Hey, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. So, throughout the years of doing YouTube and telling story times on this channel, I've told quite a few stories about, really cool, subscriber interactions that I've had, and also really, really uncool subscriber interactions that I've had. When I get to meet one of you guys out in public, or girls, it's usually, awesome. I'd say about 99.9% of the time, my interactions with you guys is awesome and great and amazing and just couldn't ask for a better interaction and fan base on YouTube, right? But there is that point one, okay? And whenever I meet one of those point ones, it's always a story to tell. And today I'm telling one of those stories. So I hope you enjoy it. This is probably top 3, if not number 1 creepiest fan encounter I've ever had in my life. If you enjoy it, leave a like on the video. And let's get into it, man, because it's an interesting one. It's a real interesting one. So today's story time all takes place back in the year 2017. Now, this was a month after I'd moved to California. I was living on my own in my apartment, just having a pretty cool time, right? Things were going good. Things were going amazing. Now, you all know by now, when things are going good and amazing, something has to come along and fuck all of that up. And sure enough, a month into me being in California, I'm in my apartment one night. It's 2 in the morning. I'm on my computer playing some Counter-Strike, just chilling by myself, right? Enjoying my night, relaxing. And my phone starts ringing. And I look down, and it's one of my cousins calling me. And I pick it up, and I was like, hello? And he's like, yo, dude, I didn't know if you were going to be awake or not, but, I'm tweaking out right now. I have to get, emergency surgery. I'm in the hospital. I'm freaking out. And I'm like, yo, chill. What do you mean you have to get emergency surgery? What's going on? And apparently, he had, an appendix, problem. His appendix was about to rupture or something. So he had to go in for an emergency appendix surgery and get it removed. He was freaking out, right? And I understood that. That's scary shit. I completely understood. I would also be terrified if I had to go to the hospital in the middle of the night to get some emergency surgery because I was in that much pain. That's scary stuff. Now, I'm just talking to him on the phone, trying to calm him down from this, panic attack he's having. And I ask him, I'm like, dude, would it make you feel better if I jumped on a plane and came and, hung out with you? I'll be there while you recover for the week and, chill with you. Say the word, I'm there, dude. Because, I was really down to do that for him because, first of all, he's family. Second of all, he didn't have a lot of family close to him. He had me and his siblings and his mom, but for the most part, the rest of the family that we had, he wasn't very close with, and neither was I, to be honest. My family's pretty small. It used to be very big, but over multiple years, it's definitely shrunk down a bit. I'm not as close with a lot of them as I used to be. Some of them I'm not close with anymore because there's a very valid reason and they did something wrong. Other reasons are just, me moving to different places and not being as close as we used to be, but still talking here and there. But anyway, that's besides the point. My cousin was kind of in the same boat I was. He didn't have a ton of family around him, and his mom lived an hour and a half away because his apartment was in another city. So it's not like she could be there the whole week to help take care of him. And his sister was in college, so she was going to be busy. I know they would be there when they could, but I also wanted to help out and be, family to my cousin and show him that I'm there for him. So I told him, you know what? Fuck you, dude. I'm booking a ticket and I'm coming back. I'll be there in 12 hours. And that's exactly what I did. I went online, I booked the first ticket out of LA to New York, and within 4 hours, I was at the airport on no sleep, boarding a flight, dead inside, but excited to see my cousin and be there for the dude when he woke up from surgery and, kick it with him for the week and help take care of him. So that's what I did. I landed in New York many hours later, called up an Uber, and then went to the hospital where my cousin was there recovering from surgery. At this point, he had texted me that it went well, so that's good. He was already awake and doing well. Got there. His mom and his sister were already there. I said hi to them, caught up with them for a little bit. They thanked me for coming all the way over there. I was like, do not thank me. It is the least I could fucking do. Seriously. And I basically told them hey, I know you guys live kind of far and you got busy schedules, so I'm going to hang out with him for the week, help him recover. Don't stress, taking care of him if you, can't, you know what I mean? And they were really, really appreciative of it. And yeah, they held my cousin for an extra day just to be safe, made sure, he was recovering okay. And the next day, they discharged him from the hospital, and we all went back to his place together. And now here is where things get kind of strange. So upon arriving to my cousin's apartment, we're walking in the main lobby, right? He lived in a building that you had to go through a main lobby and then take an elevator up to his apartment. It was actually a really, really nice building. I was kind of jealous because that shit was way nicer than my apartment in LA. His lobby of his apartment looked like some fucking GTA 5 type shit. It was beautiful. And his apartment itself was really, really cool and modern. My cousin was doing well. What can I say? Good for him, man. Legend. Anyway, we got up to his apartment. The dude immediately laid down on the couch, started watching some TV, and me, his mom, and his sister were just kind of kicking it in the kitchen, talking, just catching up. I hadn't seen them in a little while. And while we're doing that, out of nowhere, we get a knock on the front door. And I go over to it, I answer it, and it's this man holding a toolbox. And he goes, "Hey, I'm here for the hole in the wall." And I look over at my cousin, I'm like, "Dude, did you call the maintenance up here?" He's like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, I put in a maintenance request a couple days ago before everything went down. Yeah, there's a hole upstairs in the wall." And I was like, "Why is there a hole in your wall?" And he goes, "I don't want to talk about it." And I was like, "Is the hole in the wall happen to be near your gaming setup?" And he goes, "Yeah." This motherfucker got mad at COD and punched a hole through his wall at his big age of 21 years old. I was like, all right, I got you. So I turned around and I was like, yeah, he needs his wall fixed. He's recovering from a surgery right now, so I'll do the talking for him, I guess. It's upstairs by his gaming setup. I'll lead you to it. And yeah, we both start going upstairs in his apartment. Another reason why his apartment was nice as fuck, the shit had 2 floors in an apartment. That's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, we go up the stairs, and this maintenance dude's cracking jokes behind me because he's young and he knows how gaming is. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there's been a couple times where I've definitely punched a couple holes in the wall when I was playing my games." And I'm just laughing, just kind of humoring it. And, I'm not gonna lie, when I was young, 14, 15, your boy had a temper, okay? I definitely threw a couple controllers, definitely smashed some controllers at the wall, put a little hole in it. Now that I'm in my 20s, I don't really do that anymore, but, I'm not going to judge my cousin, right? So I lead the maintenance guy upstairs, I show him my cousin's setup, and I'm like, yeah, the hole's right there next to the desk. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, it's a big one, I'll fix it." And he starts fixing it, he's doing his thing, and 5 minutes into him fixing this hole in the wall, this maintenance guy starts telling me about how, because my cousin punched the wall intentionally, he's supposed to tell the management about that, and they're supposed to charge him full price for the fix because he intentionally busted up the property, right? But the maintenance guy was going to be cool about it and not tell them. He was like, "Usually I'm supposed to tell them, but, I could tell you guys are cool, and I totally get it, and he seems like he needs a break, recovering from surgery and all, so I'm going to let him have a pass." And I was like, "Thank you, man. I'm sure he'll really appreciate that. I'll let him know." And he's like, yeah, no problem. Just don't do it again. Because, if he does it again, the management will probably think something sketchy's going on and, he's doing it himself. And I was like, all right, yeah, for sure. I'll let him know. Now, another 5 minutes goes by. Dude's still fixing the hole, doing his thing. And we get to talking about gaming again. He looks at me and he's like, "What games do you play?" And I was like, a little bit of everything. I'm not that good at them. But, I play shooters and stuff. He's like, "Oh, what kind of shooters?" "I play them too." And I was like, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike. And he's like, "Dude, I fucking love Counter-Strike. I grew up on that shit. I played Source." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, that's sick. Yeah, I've never played Source, but I've played CSGO, and I play that a lot." And he's like, "Hell yeah, dude. What's your Steam? We should game sometime." Now, I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me in my brain being like, maybe you shouldn't add your cousin's maintenance man on Steam and play CS with him. And it's weird, because I didn't have a reason to think that this guy was a bad guy or anything. I just had this gut feeling that, I didn't want to play games with him. But I didn't listen to that, because I thought to myself, you know what, Austin, you're being judgy. You don't even know this guy that well. You can't not add him. So yeah, I told him what my Steam was. I gave him my name and the link to it. And he looked it up on his phone and sent me a friend request through the app or something. And when he pulled my profile up on his phone, he immediately had a really weird look on his face. It looked like he was surprised. And then he looked up at me with this surprised face. And he goes, "Dude, I fucking knew it." And I already knew what he was about to say. I knew it. He recognized me from my videos. I could tell because he had that same look I get whenever anyone recognizes me off of my voice. I almost never get recognized for my face because I don't show my face a lot on here. It's always for my voice. If I'm at a store ordering food, or I'm talking to somebody out in public, or I'm on a video game like Valorant or CS or something and I'm calling out, sometimes people will be like, "Dude, your voice sounds really familiar. Where do I know that from?" And sometimes they'll be like, "Dude, you sound like that guy that tells stories on TikTok or YouTube." That's a crazy one, by the way. There's actually people that only know me from TikTok, which is wild. Anyway, yeah, this maintenance guy looks up at me and he's like, "I fucking knew it." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Luna, you're the YouTube dude." And I just smiled. I was like, "Yeah, dude, what's up?" And he's just like, "I knew I recognized that voice. I knew it was familiar, but I didn't want to say anything." And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, that's me." And he's like, "Dude, this is so fucking cool. What the hell? Your cousin lives in this building? That's sick." And I was like, "Yeah, And after this, he just started asking me all kinds of questions about YouTube and stuff, which were completely like respectable questions. Just asking like, how I got into it, what made me want to do it, if it's my full-time job or if I do something else on the side. Like just asking me very, very like normal questions, right? They were actually very respectful questions, and stuff that didn't like, cross a line. Sometimes I'll meet people and they'll be like, yo, how much money do you make? Yo, like, what's your yearly salary? Or like, bro, can you use my song in your next video? Like shit like that. Stuff like that's kind of rude. It doesn't offend me by any means, but it's still like kind of rude. And this guy wasn't doing that at all, and I thought that was very cool. And it made me more like inclined to play Counter-Strike with him, right? And yeah, we're just talking. He's asking me questions, and then like a few minutes later, it's like a fucking switch flipped in his brain, dude. It's like he had a switch with two labels on it. One label said rude, one label said chillest dude ever. And he flicked it from chillest dude ever to rude. And immediately he just starts asking me these outlandish questions. The first one he asks, that's kind of like crossing a line in my opinion, just barely. He goes, yo, we should make a let's play on your channel together and like start a collab series. And I answer awkwardly. I'm like, maybe, man, that's not really like my kind of content. I don't really do stuff like that. It'd be very, very weird to put that on my channel out of nowhere and like surprise my fans with a let's play. Plus, I don't know you that well, man. Like, I think we need to like establish a friendship first. So let's just worry about like playing CS or something, okay? Like, I tried to answer it as like gracefully as I could, right? And he like took offense to that. He's like, bro, you could just say no instead of like trying to, dance around it. And I was like, I'm not trying to dance around it, dude. Like, I'm telling you the truth. Like, if I was friends with you, I might consider that. But we're not friends, and that's why we should just play some CS and get to know each other first. And I was trying to be cool, right? And he's just like, oh, all right, yeah, whatever. And then after that, he goes, yo, dude, it's like you have some like followers on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Like, you probably got like mad girls in your DMs. You ever like, hook up with anyone famous? And I just kind of like awkwardly laughed, and I was like, no, I haven't. And that was the truth. I don't think it's very hard to believe, but yeah, your boy's not smashing A-list celebrities, okay? I don't think CSGO surf YouTuber Luna is every A-list celebrity woman's dream guy, okay? I'm just being honest. I'm just, set my expectations at a fair level, all right? So yeah, I awkwardly laughed and I told him like, no, that hasn't happened. And he calls me a liar. He's like, come on, bro. You got millions of followers. You're telling me there's not one girl you haven't hooked up with that's like kind of popular? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, define popular? Like, a girl that also has followers? I mean, yeah, but not like a fucking celebrity. Like, I don't know what he was trying to ask me, right? And he's like, well, like, who is it? And I was like, bro, no, we're not doing this. Okay, man? Like, I appreciate you being interested in, like, what I do for a living and, like, my YouTube stuff. But, like, I'm not going to tell you who I've hung out with and, like, hooked up with. Like, that's just weird. I don't know you like that. And I was kind of starting to, like, lose my cool with him a little bit because he was just crossing too many lines, in my opinion. So yeah, after I tell him like I'm not going to answer his question, he kind of gets all offended again. He's like, all right, bro, just chill. It's just like locker room talk. Just relax, bro. I'm just having some fun. And I was like, it's all good, dude. I'm just, it's kind of an uncomfortable question to ask me. That's all. He's like, come on, bro. Don't be dramatic. And I was like, I'm not being dramatic. I just don't want to answer that question. He's like, whatever. Then he goes back to fixing the wall after that in silence for like 10 minutes. And finally, he gets it fixed, right? He like puts the fucking drywall mudding on or whatever. And it's like, it needs to dry, essentially. Then he'd come back the next day and paint it. So, like, after he gets it all done, he, like, gets up, he grabs his tools and stuff, the things he needs, and he starts heading down the stairs. And while we're both going downstairs, he's telling me that, like, he's going to be back tomorrow around, like, 3 o'clock so he can paint that wall, the new drywall, and, make it look, seamless and good. And that would be the end of it. And I was like, all right, cool, sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow at 3. It'll be me that answers the door. And, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. He's like, sounds good. Everybody have a great night. And he waves to me, my cousin, his sister, his mom, and we all wave goodbye. And he heads out, right? And I turn around immediately, and I look at my cousin. He looks at me, and he's like still like, kind of loopy off the painkillers they were giving him. And he's like, what? And I was like, bro, that fucking maintenance guy is weird. And he's like, dude, I know. I've met him before. He's super weird. And I was like, bro, he was asking me like weird questions about YouTube stuff. And he's like, oh shit, really? And I was like, yeah, man. And I'm like explaining to him like what he was talking about, and his mom and his sister and him, like they're all just kind of like in awe at the questions. And I really wish that, I could say that's where it ended and that was the weirdest it got. But unfortunately, it's about to get a whole lot weirder. So strap in. So fast forward to the next day. I slept over at my cousin's house. I decided to just stay with him for the whole week. Originally, we planned on me just staying there for a couple days. and then like getting a hotel for the rest of the time and like being close by. But my cousin decided like it would just be better if I stayed there the whole week and saved money and was like, right there if he needed me. So he told me I could take his room upstairs, like take his bedroom and just stay there for the week. And then he'd just take the couch because he said the couch was better and he didn't want to have to do the stairs and stuff. So yeah, that was the plan. And yeah, the next day rolled around, right? And it was time for the maintenance guy to come back. And it was 3 o'clock. It was almost that time for him to be knocking on the door. And I think he ended up showing up at like 3:30. I think at 3:30 I got a knock on the front door. And I walked downstairs and I answered it. And sure enough, it's Mr. Maintenance Man. It's the same guy from the day before. And immediately he starts it off on a real, like, kind of weird note. I open the door and he goes, "What's up, Luna?" And I was like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Not much. What you up to?" And I was like, "Just hanging out with my cousin." He's like, Cool. How's he doing?" I'm like, "Good." He's like, "All right, well, I'm just going to paint the wall, so I'm going to go do that." And he gets his stuff and he starts going upstairs. And I didn't even follow him up there. I didn't want to go up there and talk to him because I just knew it'd probably go in that direction again of weird. So I decided to stay downstairs, like in the living room with my cousin and just chill. So that's what I did. I stayed down there, and like 10 minutes later, Mr. Maintenance Man comes down the stairs with his tools and his paint stuff. And he's like, "Wall's all fixed. Everything's all good. Just let that paint dry. Don't touch it. You're good to go." And my cousin thanks him. I thank him. I tell him to have a good day. And I'm expecting him to leave, right? And he comes up to me before he leaves, and he like puts his hand out to shake my hand. And I was like, "Oh, okay, he wants to shake my hand, right? Like, cool." So I shake his hand. But when I go to shake it, like when we lock hands, he squeezes my hand really hard. Like, hurt me, dude. I don't know if he was trying to hurt me or if like this is just how he shakes people's hands. But he's like menacingly just gripping my hand. And while he's shaking it, he leans down and he goes, "Don't forget, bro, we gotta play some CS soon." And I was like, "Okay, dude. Yeah, when I get back to California, we're doing it." He's like, "Promise?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I go to like let go of his hand and he like won't let go. And I have to like shake my hand free and he lets go finally. It was just creepy, dude. It felt like some shit out of like a horror movie. Like, he was just giving me this real menacing vibe. And I know my cousin was catching on too, because like he was giving me that look of like, this guy's a fucking weirdo. Anyway, after that awkward ass interaction, that creepy ass interaction, the maintenance dude gets his shit and he leaves, right? He walks out the front door, says goodbye, and it's done. It's finally done, right? I mean, he's gone. He's out of my life. I literally pulled open my phone 5 seconds later and deleted his Steam friend request because I just never wanted to speak to him again. He was giving me really bad, just terrible vibes, right? I did not trust him. So I deleted his Steam friend request and I didn't have any intention to play with him or talk to him ever again. I don't know, man. Just I didn't like the feeling I was getting. So anyway, after this, my cousin's like laughing about the whole situation because like it is weird. Like, it was a weird situation. And like 20 minutes later, I'd say, after we were like chilling downstairs for a while, I went back upstairs to my cousin's room where I was staying to go do some work on my laptop. I'd edit a video. And as I walk upstairs and I pass by my cousin's gaming setup on the way to his room, I notice something. His gaming setup looks different. Like, I'm looking at it real long, right? And I'm like, there's something off. Like, that maintenance guy touched something or moved something. Like, something feels odd here. And then it hits me. So, my cousin had this Funko Pop on top of his speakers at his desk. It was a fully boxed up, mint condition Post Malone Funko Pop. And it was signed by Post. And my cousin's like a huge fan of him. I mean, so am I. He's the shit. But like, my cousin loved him, right? And he had this signed fucking Funko Pop that he got from a concert, and it was missing. And there was nowhere it could have gone in the span of like 45 minutes because it was there before the maintenance guy got there. I can assure you that. I saw it earlier in the day. So immediately I go barreling down the stairs. I run downstairs and I'm like, "Yo, don't freak out, but I am like 99.9% sure the maintenance guy just stole your Funko Pop." And he's like, "Wait, what? What Funko Pop?" I'm like, "The Post Malone one." He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're joking, right? Like, you're trolling me?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I'll go check again and make sure it like didn't fall or something, but like I'm pretty sure it's gone." He goes, "Dude, go check." So I run upstairs. I'm like looking around the desk. I'm like pulling the desk out from the wall, looking behind the desk to see like if it fell down maybe. And I can't find the fucking thing. No matter where I'm looking, it's not there. And I pretty much just accept the fate that it probably got stolen by the maintenance guy, right? So I go back downstairs. I'm like, "Yo, hate to break it to you, dude, but I can't find that thing. It didn't fall down behind your desk. It didn't fall down on the floor. It wasn't under your chair. Like I said, man, there's a very high chance that dude just stole it. And he goes, well, then, like, we gotta contact him, bro. We gotta talk to him. And I was like, do you have his number? And he's like, no, did you get it when you talked to him? And I was like, no, bro, I didn't get it. And then I was like, dude, let's just, like, call the leasing office downstairs. Like, let's call the main office and, like, talk to them about what happened. They can probably, like, look at the cameras or something and, like, you know, verify if he took it or not. And for some reason, my cousin doesn't want to do that. He's like, nah, dude, fuck that shit. Like, they're not going to do anything. Like, they're the least helpful people ever. They'll probably call him and ask him if he took it, and he'll say no, and they'll leave it at that. And I was like, all right, man, like, fair enough. Well, then, like, what do you want to do, man? Like, what can we do here? And he's like, we should call the cops on that motherfucker. And I was like, dude. And he's like, what? I'm like, dude. He's like, what? What, Austin? I was like, 911, what's your emergency? The maintenance man stole my Funko Pop. Arrest him immediately. And my fucking cousin starts dying laughing, and so do I. And he's like, all right, fine, fuck you. Yeah, you're right. That is stupid. And I was like, nah, man, but if you want to, we can. Like, they probably actually will help you because it's worth some money, I'm sure. And also, like, stealing is stealing. I'm sure they'll look into it for you. And he's like, nah, you're right, man. That's overkill. And then I have an idea pop in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. I still have his Steam account. Like, I know his name on Steam. So I can just look that up, send a friend request, and just message him on there. And he's like, dude, that's fucking genius. Like, yes, great idea. So that's exactly what I did. I got on my laptop, I opened Steam, I looked his name back up, I sent him a friend request. This dude accepted my friend request, by the way, in like 5 minutes. He was almost instant with it. And immediately I typed out a message. I was like, yo, man, it's Austin. Like, thanks for fixing the wall earlier. Had a quick question for you. We had a Funko Pop go missing that was right next to that wall hole. And like, I searched everywhere and it was there before you got there and now it's gone. So I don't mean to like be mean here and accuse you, but did you take it? And if you did take it and you're honest with me, like, I'm not going to be mad. My cousin just really loves that thing. He wants it back. It means a lot to him. And immediately he starts typing. And I'm kind of like anxious, right? Like, I'm wondering what this dude's about to say because I just accused him of stealing a pretty important thing to my cousin. And I knew he fucking had it. Like, there was literally no way he didn't take it. It was there before he got there and it was gone when he left. So unless my cousin had a ghost in that apartment, that dude took it. So this maintenance dude is typing for like a solid 5 minutes, right? And like still just not responding. And then like 6 or 7 minutes goes by and finally he responds. And it just says, yup, I took it. This dude took 7 minutes to type, yup, I took it. And me and my cousin just look at each other after seeing that message. And I was like, what the fuck? So I reply and I was like, okay, can you bring it back? And he replies with ... IDK. And me and my cousin, once again, just look at each other. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know. Like, really? So I reply again and I was like, dude, seriously, please just bring it back for him. This is fucked up. If you don't bring it back, I'm going to have to call the cops on you. Now, I didn't really have any intentions of calling the cops, I can't lie, but I just thought threatening him with that would make him bring it back. And he replies and he goes, okay, I'll bring it back under one condition. So now I'm like really mad because this dude's about to blackmail me for a fucking Funko Pop. Like, he really is being a malicious, like, devious little fucking guy. So I reply and I say, okay, what's the condition? And I shit you not, this dude responds and goes, I'll bring it back today if you make a video with me. And me and my cousin both start laughing. Like, just because how fucking insane is this? Like, dude's trying to blackmail me for a collab to get my cousin's Funko Pop back. Like, it was just nuts. It was nuts. So after me and my cousin had a little bit of a chuckle, I respond, and I was about to say, no, fuck you, bring it back. But then my cousin goes, dude, just tell him you will, and then when we get the fucking Funko, just block his ass. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Good idea. So I messaged this guy back on Steam, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do the video with you. Just bring the Funko Pop back now. And he responds and he goes, no, video first. And then I respond and I go, no, Funko Pop first, or you get no video, period. And he goes, I don't think so. And I go, fine, then I'm calling the fucking cops. And he responds and he goes, nah, it's okay. I'll bring the Funko Pop first. So we won, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we won. He's going to bring it over. Everything's going to be okay. We're going to win, right? It's going to be good. And yeah, like 10 minutes later, dude, this guy says he's on his way. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, he's about to be here in like a few minutes. And then we'll get the Funko Pop back and I'll block his ass on Steam and I'll never have to hear from this dickhead again. So yeah, not long after that, I'd say maybe like 5, maybe 10 minutes, we get a knock on the door And I look through the peephole, and sure enough, it's Mr. Maintenance Man. And guess what he's holding in his left hand? The signed Funko Pop. And my cousin gets up off the couch and like storms over to the door super fast. Definitely should not have been moving like that after surgery. And he swings the door open, rips the fucking Funko Pop out of the maintenance dude's hand, and he goes, "Pleasure doing business with you. Have a nice day, fuckface." And he closes the door in his face and locks it. And the maintenance man's like yelling through the door. He's like, "Can Austin open the door and like talk to me about when we're gonna do this video?" And we just ignored him. And after like a few minutes, he walks away from the door. And then he starts messaging me on Steam. He's like, "All right, when are we doing this video?" And I just ignored him. Now, just as I was about to block him on Steam and like never talk to this guy again because we like got the thing back and we were like good, I had an idea. It was just, kind of the nail in the coffin. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to try and pull off one more thing. And I didn't tell my cousin what I was about to do. I just thought he wouldn't want me to do it. So I kind of went behind his back and I went on my laptop. I printed out every single screenshot of every message he sent me on Steam, basically admitting to being a thief and stealing from the apartment. I then printed out an entire like typed out story of the events that occurred, and I stapled it all together and I brought it downstairs to the leasing office that day before they closed. And yeah, I went down there and I asked for the property manager, and they had me sit down in her office and I handed her the whole stack of papers and told her everything that happened from start to finish. And I told her if she didn't believe me, she could check the cameras because the camera footage would line up with my, story. And she told me, like, thank you so much. She'll look into it and, she'll call my cousin with any updates because, it was his apartment. It was his stuff. And I was just kind of speaking for him. So I thought, okay, like, good to know. Whatever. Like, maybe they'll do something. Maybe they won't. At least I tried. And after this, I went back upstairs to the apartment and my cousin asked me where I was at because he didn't see me leave. He was in the bathroom when I left. So yeah, when I came back, he was on the couch again. He's like, "Where were you at?" And I lied to his ass. I was like, "Oh, I was downstairs just checking out the pool, making a phone call." And he's like, "Oh, all right, cool. And he's like, "You hungry? I'm about to order food." And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm good." And the rest of that night was completely normal, right? My cousin didn't get any phone calls from the leasing office. I didn't get any messages from Mr. Maintenance Dude. I kept him added for the night just to see if he would message me, but he didn't. And the next morning rolled around. And this is really where this story, gets even better. So the next morning I wake up at like 11 a.m., right? And I wake up to my cousin yelling from downstairs going, Austin, come down here." So I'm thinking like, yo, there's an emergency. I'm thinking like he's in pain and needs help. So I run downstairs. I get out of bed. I'm still in my fucking underwear, bro. I like run down the stairs. I'm looking all fucked up. I turn the corner and he's like, "Yo, they fired him." I was like, "What?" He's like, "The maintenance dude, they fired him." And when he said that shit, bro, I immediately like woke up and snapped out of being tired. I was like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, they fucking fired him. Like, you went down there and you complained, they fired him." I was like, "No fucking way." And my cousin thanked me for like going down there and talking to them. So that was cool. That worked out. I thought he'd be kind of mad, but he's actually really fine with it. And then I checked my Steam messages immediately because I was like, yo, I bet this dude messaged me all pissed off, right? And sure enough, he did. He messaged me and he said, "I'm disappointed in you." And he sent that message like 30 minutes before I woke up, right? And it said he was still online. So I went to message him back. And as soon as I go to send the message, I don't know if he was like waiting like at his computer or something, but as soon as I sent the message, it gave me some like weird error. I can't remember exactly what it said. I think it was along the lines of like, you can't message this person because they don't have you added, or this person is currently away or something, right? It gave me some weird error. So I clicked the profile of this dude to see if he's like still online and like try and send this message again. And when I clicked his profile, it immediately changed. The name on Steam changed and the profile picture went to some like other photo. So he like changed his profile details. And I noticed something else. I wasn't friends with him anymore. He deleted me or blocked me. I'm not sure which one it was, but he essentially made sure I couldn't message him on Steam anymore after that. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the audacity of this man. This man used his job to go into someone's apartment and steal from them to try and blackmail their cousin, and then has the balls to tell me that he's disappointed in me because he got fired for being a fucking idiot. Like, I couldn't believe that there was a man walking this earth that was that clueless and like selfish. Like, I couldn't believe this shit. If he was willing to do this, who knows what else he's done in his life that like he's blamed other people for. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, all right, picture this. Imagine you go to the mall, right? And there's an old lady with a walker slowly walking next to a fountain. And you go up to that old lady and you drop kick her into the fountain, okay? She flies like 20 feet into the fountain, falls down, gets wet, gets hurt, gets up, gets out of the fountain, calls the cops on you, get your ass arrested, you're rotting in jail for assault, she's got a broken hip because of you, and then you have the audacity to write her a letter being like, I can't believe you called the cops. Like, it's really your fault for slipping. Like, that's literally fucking insane, right? Like, that would never happen. You would never do that. You want to know why? Because you guys all have this thing called a brain, and you know how to use it. This guy that I encountered didn't have that, I guess. And yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, this is definitely, like, top 3, if not, like, number 1 craziest subscriber interaction I've ever fucking had, ever. But yeah, guys, in the end, we never saw him again. The dude lost his job. He couldn't work at that building anymore. They let him go. We won. We got the Funko Pop back that's signed by Posty. It's still on his desk to this day. My cousin recovered from his surgery. He was fine. And in the end, I'd say it was a pretty happy ending. Now, there is a moral to this story. Trust your gut. Remember when I said I had that gut feeling about this guy? Like, I didn't want to play on, CSGO with him? I should have just went with that to begin with. And this isn't me saying that you should just judge people without knowing them. That's obviously not what I'm saying here. But, if you're talking to somebody and you don't like the way the conversation's going and you don't want to talk to that person anymore, you don't want to, ever interact with them again, you have every right to go home and block their ass or be like, hey, I gotta go, and turn around and walk the other way. Like, fuck that shit. There is such thing as being too nice. And I think in this situation, I was a little bit too nice. There's also another moral to this story. If someone robs you, steals from you, whatever, like in any capacity, just call the fucking cops, dude. What we did could have went a million other ways that were not good. We're just lucky that it went the way it did and we got it back. But yeah, guys, those are the morals of the story. And that's the end of the story. In the end, everything was okay. Everything was good. I'd say it was a pretty happy ending. If you enjoyed the story time, guys, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted, mama knew I'd be a star. Now I'm steady flowing, feeling like I'm high as Mars. I'ma keep on going, I'ma always raise the bar. Told me I could not do it